Okie dokie. We're going to run through the starting grid of this game. Oh, I've done Portugal too much. At least recently, so I have no idea what this is going to be. Alright, we've gone through the grid. I'm just making sure that we are good to go for streaming.
Watch for the green. They're ready for the off. And it's go, go, go. Flat out now. Look at that.
What the How is that just not anything but deliberate? That was like a Schumacher blots out Barrichello movement.
Amazing. That's taken him up a position. And he's gained a lot of time there. '20th, Pedro Diniz. He forces his way through. He's closing the gap. Unbelievable. Spectacular overtaking there. This will really help the team in this year's Constructors' Championship. He's closing the gap. That's taken him up a position. Race order. In first place, Damon Hill. Second, David Coulthard. In third position, Michael Schumacher. Incredible. Fourth, Johnny Herbert. In fifth place, Jean Alesi. In sixth, Gerhard Berger. And he's gained a lot of time there.
I think I just need 2 points to lock up the driver's title. Maybe 3, like 4th place ought to do it.
I'm sure there was contact there. It's Inoue. 15th.
I was trying to take an outside line, and the game's like,
16th,
ooh, a lungy
Nigel
opportunity.
Mansell. 17th, Taki Inoue. This young man really is a superlative driver. He's closing the gap. Spectacular overtaking there.
Spectacular overtaking there.
Race order. In first place, Damon Hill. Second, David Coulthard.
Find the sequel.
In third position, Johnny Herbert. Fourth, Michael Schumacher. In fifth, Jean Alesi. In sixth place, Gerhard Berger.
see it as an opportunity to try to come into that space.
You can see visually just how small the gap is. That's moved him up a place. He's definitely gaining. Race order. Damon Hill, David Coulthard, Johnny Herbert, Michael Schumacher. Oh no! That was almost certainly a collision there.
I should actually look up how long the race is. Looks like we're in for 30 laps. 35. So 35.
The beauty of this race is that it's totally unpredictable.
Which means 17 is...
13,
17 to 18 is the
Jean-Christophe
midpoint.
Pouliot. 14, Nigel Mansell. 15, Mika Salo. He's a bit off the pace there. Wait a minute, there was definitely contact between the two cars. He's definitely gaining. Superb! Race order. Damon Hill, David Coulthard, Johnny Herbert, Gerhard Berger. That's taken him up a position. He's
There's
closing
the
the
hard
gap.
overtake.
What a fascinating season this is turning out to be. He
That dark
forces
car
his
is
way
really
through.
tough to overtake.
Olivier Panis. He's closing the gap. 12, Nigel Mansell. 13, Martin Brundle.
Jesus. G-Bus. Let me...
Race order. Damon Hill, David Coulthard, Johnny Herbert, Gerhard Berger. This young man really is a superlative driver.
Superlative.
The gap is growing. The sun is out and the weather is fine. 11, Olivier Panis. 12, Nigel Mansell.
Oh my God.
Hang on! That's down a position. What's happened? Andy's gained a lot of time there.
Do not know what happened there.
There was definitely contact between the two cars. Ouch!
I lost my forward momentum.
Pedal to the metal. Lag out. It's not enough to be lucky. You've got to be good. And he is that. Race order. Damon Hill, Johnny Herbert, David Coulthard, Gerhard Berger. He's a bit off the pace there.
This one has not turned out to be one of my strengths.
That was almost certainly a collision there. Look at this! Look at this! Andy's gained a lot of time there. Martin Brundle. 13, Nigel Mansell. 14, Ukyo Katayama. He's in the slipstream of the car in front. Sensational! Spectacular overtaking there. He must be shedding buckets of adrenaline in that car. Race order. Damon Hill, Johnny Herbert, David Coulthard, Gerhard Berger. He's closing the gap.
Come on. Give me some of the speed.
That's powerful acceleration there. 11, Olivier Panis. 12, Nigel Mansell. 13, Martin Brundle.
Can't get the stupid overtake.
He really loves these kind of conditions. Race order. Damon Hill, Johnny Herbert, Gerhard Berger, David Coulthard. And the gap is closing. He's right underneath the rear wing of the car in front.
This is like 11.
He must be shedding buckets of adrenaline in that car. 11, Olivier Panis. 12, Nigel Mansell. 13, Massimiliano Papis. He's a bit off the pace there. That's heavy on the brakes there. He's closing the gap. Superlative. He's right underneath the rear wing of the car in front. Race order. Damon Hill, Johnny Herbert, Gerhard Berger, Jean Alesi. This young man really is a superlative driver. He's losing ground. 11, Olivier Panis. 12, Nigel Mansell. 13, Massimiliano Papis. Look at that! I'm sure there was contact there. And the gap is closing. Race order. Damon Hill, Johnny Herbert, Gerhard Berger, Jean Alesi. They're really right on the edge, pushing it to the limit all the time.
22.
Olivier Panis. 12, Nigel Mansell. 13, Ukyo Katayama. Unbelievable! He's a bit off the pace there.
Right in front of me.
Race order. Damon Hill, Gerhard Berger, Johnny Herbert, Jean Alesi. The gap is growing. He's closing the gap. Olivier Panis. 12, Nigel Mansell. 13, Ukyo Katayama.
Could lower the downforce, but it's going to make me slower everywhere else. I don't think a higher is going to make me any overtakes, though. Lower might.
Yes, the beauty of this race is that it's totally unpredictable. The gap is growing. Race order. Damon Hill, Gerhard Berger, Johnny Herbert, Jean Alesi. He's gained a lot of time there. It's Mansell. He's into the barriers. Unbelievable. That's a Mclaren. That's onto the grass.
That wasn't good.
16, Mika Salo. The gap is growing. 17, Nigel Mansell. That looks to me like it must be some kind of problem. 18, Taki Inoue. He's been overtaken. Hang on. That's a slow one.
Shit.
That's down a position. That's powerful acceleration there. Race order. Damon Hill, Gerhard Berger, Johnny Herbert, Jean Alesi. He's losing ground. That's taken him up a position. And he's gained a lot of time there. 20th, Pedro Lamy. 21st, Nigel Mansell. He must be shedding buckets of adrenaline in that car. 22nd, Pedro Diniz. And he's gained a lot of time there.
I missed the pit lane, so there is a lot to make up for.
Race order. Gerhard Berger, Johnny Herbert, Damon Hill, David Coulthard. The gap is closing. This young man really is a superlative driver. He's hard on the accelerator and he's gained a lot of time there. Sensational! That's taken him up a position. Race order: Johnny Herbert, Damon Hill, David Coulthard, Gerhard Berger. Fascinating season this is turning out to be. That's moved him up a place, and he's gained a lot of time there. Ukyo Katayama. 11, Nigel Mansell. 12, Michael Schumacher. He's losing ground. He's closing the gap. Race order: Johnny Herbert, David Coulthard, Jean Alesi, Damon Hill. The gap is growing. He forces his way through. That's powerful acceleration there. He's definitely gaining. 8, Ukyo Katayama. 9, Nigel Mansell. 10, Luca Badoa. He's having to use the brakes an awful lot. And he's gained a lot of time there.
Top speed.
Yes, the beauty of this race is that it's totally unpredictable. Race order: Johnny Herbert, Jean Alesi, Damon Hill, Eddie Irvine.
One of the hacks when you're chasing the faster cars, if you're on lower downforce doing similar lap times, lower downforce will give you more straight line speed, makes overtaking a little bit easier on a straight. It's kind of an abuse of the boosting power.
The gap is growing. He's hard on the brakes. 7. Gerhard Berger. 8. Nigel Mansell. 9. Ukyo Katayama. And he's gained a lot of time there. That's moved him up a place. He's hard on the accelerator. This will really help the team in this year's Constructors' Championship. Race order: Johnny Herbert, Jean Alesi, Damon Hill, Eddie Irvine. And the gap is closing. He's closing the gap. Seven, Nigel Mansell. 8, Ukyo Katayama. He's a bit off the pace there. He's up into the points now. Oh my word! I'm sure there was contact there.
Jesus. Didn't break enough.
And he's gained a lot of time there. Race order: Johnny Herbert, Jean Alesi, Damon Hill, Eddie Irvine. Oh no! I'm sure there was contact there. And the gap is closing. Acceleration there. He's definitely gaining. Yes, the beauty of this race is that it's totally unpredictable. Race order: Johnny Herbert, Jean Alesi, Damon Hill, Eddie Irvine. He's closing the gap.
Going to the pit lane.
You can see visually just how small the gap is. He forces his way through. Yes, the beauty of this race is that it's totally unpredictable. Wait a minute, I'm sure there was contact there. Race order, Johnny Herbert, Jean Alesi, Damon Hill, Eddie Irvine.
Coulthard is the closest contender, so this is looking bad for the
He's losing ground. That's powerful acceleration there. This young man really is a superlative driver.
too wide. Shit.
Hang on! Remember, anything happens in Grand Prix racing, and it usually does. Race order, Johnny
Not my
Herbert,
finest hour.
Jean Alesi, Damon Hill, Eddie Irvine. The gap is growing. What's happened?
I think that unlocks us.
He's definitely gaining. Brilliant! He's right up tight behind him, pushing hard. This will really help the team in this year's Constructors' Championship. Pedal to the metal, flat out. The gap is growing. Race order, Johnny Herbert, Jean Alesi, Damon Hill, Eddie Irvine. And he's gained a lot of time there. He's definitely gaining. He really loves these kind of conditions. He's closing the gap. Race order: Johnny Herbert, Jean Alesi, Damon Hill, Eddie Irvine. And he's gained a lot of time there. That's heavy on the brakes there.
Look,
He's closing the gap. This young man really is a superlative driver. He's definitely gaining. Pedal to the metal. Let out. Race order: Johnny Herbert, Jean Alesi, Damon Hill, Eddie Irvine. And he's gained a lot of time
hey
there.
JB, how's it going?
He's definitely gaining.
Sad you missed most of the race. Not a lot's been happening in this one.
This young man really is a superlative driver.
I lowered the downforce to increase my top speed, that's it. Other than that, there hasn't been much.
He's closing the gap.
Except the usual boost shenanigans. And higher downforce making us harder to overtake, or lower downforce making us harder to overtake. Because they can't straight line me.
Race order: Johnny Herbert, Jean Alesi, Damon Hill, Eddie Irvine.
Funny thing is the game
And he's
actually
gained a
does
lot of
change
time there.
who's at the front like on these pit stops too.
This will really help the team in this year's
It's quite similar to
Constructors'
Spain.
Championship.
Similar-ish. Overtaking is nigh on
He's
impossible.
losing ground.
You don't like Spain much? Yeah, it has like similar properties to Spain. Up to the difficulty in overtaking and all that. This chicane even is pretty similar to the feed into the front
Race
straight
order. Johnny Herbert,
until they like took
John
that out of
Alesi,
Spain.
Damon Hill, Eddie Irvine.
It's like a
They're
modern
really
thing they did to
right
the
on
track.
edge, pushing it to the limit all
Because
the
older
time.
Spain doesn't have that chicane. They do a lot of weird things to this track.
He's accelerating hard now.
Fourth is what I need to like make sure I basically for sure finish with the most points. But I'm probably going to anyway. Because I'm just ahead by so many. Really, I was probably just a victim of being too similar to Spain. Got to an era where they didn't want to have two tracks like this.
He's gained a lot of time
There's nothing
now.
wrong with the track. Not really, anyway.
He really loves these kind of conditions. Race order. Johnny Herbert, Jean Alesi, Damon Hill, Eddie Irvine. This is the next to last lap.
The penultimate. I think it's going to finish like this.
The gap is growing. And he's gained a lot of time there. This young man really is a superlative driver.
It's not quite fast enough to catch Irvine.
Pedal to the metal, flat out. It's the final lap. Race order. Johnny Herbert, Jean Alesi, Damon Hill, Eddie Irvine.
Safety regs, what was unsafe about the track?
The gap is growing. It's a win for Johnny Herbert. That's a great result for the Benetton team. In second second place, John Alesi.
Shit.
Oh dear, he's lost a place. And he's gained a lot of time there.
Yeah, that was really bad. I just got out-dragged.
In third place, Damon Hill. Sixth, Nigel Mansell. That's a marvellous...
45 points ahead. 16, 17. Yeah, we have it.